Welcome back, critical thinkers. This is the start of a video series to distinguish between good, credible arguments and bad arguments. Which argument should we believe and which should we reject? Whenever someone defends a claim, arguments will be used. But the mere fact that someone uses an argument is in itself no reason to believe the claim. We need to learn to evaluate arguments. That is, to determine if the argument is a good one or actually rather bad. Online discussions are a common sight for those on social media. Sometimes jokingly called keyboard warriors are people who get into discussions all the time, presenting arguments for their views that can be really good, but are bad more often than not. But that's today's challenge for us. How can we spot a bad argument? There are two criteria for assessing the credibility of an argument: logical validity and truth of the premises. This video focuses on the issue of logical validity. Video 2.3 helps you to challenge the truth of premises in a successful way. So, what is logical validity? If the conclusion follows logically and inevitably from the premises, we call the argument valid. You can check if an argument is valid by trying to come up with a counterexample. Is it possible for both premises to be true, but the conclusion at the same time false? An example might help you to understand this. So the famous American Hollywood actor Woody Allen is credited with a famous example of twisting Aristotle's argument. He said, as a joke, all men are mortal. Socrates was mortal, therefore all men are Socrates. Does this conclusion really follow from the premises? Let's check it out in mind map and see if this argument is logically valid. So here we have Woody Allen's conclusion, and we need to add a sibling claim. Socrates was mortal. All men are mortal. Socrates was mortal. On the face of it, it looks like true premises. But the conclusion appears to be false. All men are Socrates. We can probably come up with some counterexamples of people who are not Socrates. If we stick to famous Greek philosophers, Plato was a man, but he was not Socrates. And if that doesn't convince us, maybe add Gandhi. Another one to help convince you: Lionel Messi. All right, so you can add a million counterexamples here. You can fill in your own name because you're probably human, but you are not Socrates. What about Aristotle's original argument? Does that fare any better? Is it not easy to come up with counterexamples for that too? So here we have the conclusion and its premises. So premises still look true to me, and conclusion also seems to make sense. Can I come up with a counterexample in which all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, but Socrates would not be mortal? No, that I cannot. So until someone comes up with a counterexample in which both premises are true and the conclusion is false, there is no way this argument is invalid. Okay, back to the presentation. So we just established that this argument from Aristotle is valid and the argument from Woody Allen is invalid, but validity is not enough. And we're going to look for sound arguments. And a sound argument is logically valid and has true premises. You cannot have one or the other. We need them both. So let's look at the premises. Are they true? All men are mortal. Socrates is a man. At face value, they seem rather uncontroversial. So we might say that this argument is valid with two true premises. We call those arguments sound. If an argument is sound, that means you can believe the conclusion without the danger of being irrational. Rational people are people that are convinced by good, sound arguments. All right, that's it for today. Next time we'll look at finding premises in sources.